So at this point, if you've not heard about Temu, you must be living under a rock. And I'm not sure if their current marketing campaign is a global one, but here in Nigeria, you can't scroll past two, maybe three social media posts without seeing a Temu ad. And a lot of my friends who know that I make a lot of online purchases, especially from international online stores like Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, AliExpress, they have a lot of questions about Temu, like should I even be using the company? Should I make purchases on this website? Is it safe? Are there any things I should be concerned about? And how do I even go about it? And these are all the questions we are going to be answering in this video today. And also I'm going to talk about like two major tips that you should be using to make purchases online, whether or not it's on a website that might have questionable backgrounds. And then we're going to talk about the process of you buying from Temu and pretty much any other international store. So you want to stick with me till the very end of the video. Temu is a Chinese company, much like your Alibaba and your AliExpress. And then it's owned by PDD Holdings, not the PDD you're thinking about. But yeah, they are under PDD Holdings, and also they are incorporated in Delaware and headquartered in Boston. They are criticized a lot for things like supply chain issues, data privacy, forced labor, intellectual property, the quality of their marketplace products, and also trade loopholes. Keep in mind, a lot of companies have issues like this that people criticize them for, and especially the biggest one is usually like data issues, data breaches, and data privacy, whether or not they're selling user information and things like that. And that's why a lot of people have concerns about buying from Temu. That's why it's important for us to have measures. You as a user, the onus falls on you to protect yourself or take precautionary measures to make sure that you're not putting yourself in harm's way. And for this year, I have two general rules of thumb, or two tips that I use to buy on online stores like this. And the first one is I try to make sure that I am supplying information that is not tied to anything important as far as my digital footprint goes. So what I mean is, if I'm signing up on a questionable website, or maybe a platform I'm trying out for the first time, or for whatever reason, if I'm not fully confident with a particular brand or online platform, I use disposable things generally. So like my email, the information I'm giving out, my email, my phone number, addresses, all those things are things that are not tied to more important stuff that I'm doing. So maybe my bank account, same email with my bank account, or other platforms where I don't want to lose the thing. So for instance, this YouTube channel is important to me. I am not going to give my email that I use for this YouTube or to a brand that I'm not sure about, that maybe has data issues, or I've read, or there's criticisms, or they've been alleged to have issues with data or whatever. So you can create a new email, have a separate phone number and data generally to sign up on these platforms. Now, another very important thing is to try and not repeat passwords. This is a very common thing when it comes to protecting your data, and a lot of people don't understand why it's always advised for you not to repeat your password, and I'm going to try to explain it to you. So if, say, you sign up on 10 different platforms, yeah, and you use the same password and email on all of them, and maybe the same email password that you use on your actual email account, if there is a data breach on one of those platforms, what happens is the attackers would try to use the information they've gotten from that one breach and try to log into different types of accounts with that same information, because they know that a lot of people are lazy and usually just use the same email and password across multiple platforms. And if you are that type of person, that's how one single breach can cross-platform and become something that will affect many different other platforms where you're signed up on. If you're going to repeat passwords, at least don't use the same passwords that you use on these platforms that are important to you. And then the next tip is concerning payments. When you want to make payments on a platform like any online platform where it's required for you to provide your debit or credit card, you don't want to use a debit or credit card that is tied to your major bank accounts. This is where virtual cards come to play. So I have a bunch of virtual cards in different currencies. Leverage virtual cards for the purpose of making online purchases on platforms like Temu. And if you do this, whether or not these platforms have questionable backgrounds, you are more or less going to be kind of protected. You're taking some precautionary measures. So if those data gets leaked or something happens, it's something that is disposable. You can discard it, and it's not tied to you. It's not going to do any serious damage to you. Now that said, let's move on to how you can actually make purchases. To make a purchase on Temu, let's go to the website. Of course, you can see that it's a lot like your Jumia on your Konga if you're Nigerian. And the operation is also very similar because these are many different sellers come on here to set up shop and advertise their products and put up their products and then fulfill the orders. So it's not like Temu is one company that pushes out the whole thing. It's different sellers on this platform, which is why it's also possible for you to get scammed because it's not one person. You're not dealing with one company. You're dealing with many different people. And sometimes these sellers can set up shop on a legit platform and take advantage of the branding of that platform and their wide reach to try to pull a fast one on unsuspecting buyers. So you want to be very careful. If you find something that you're interested in buying, reviews can help you. You see how much orders they've fulfilled in the past, and just little things like that should be pointers whether or not it's going to be a successful buy for you. If you're in Nigeria, you know that this is a Chinese company. It's easier for you to ship through a company that fulfills orders. And the ones that I would recommend is, of course, Fly My Mall. I've made a video about them, and they are really improving their service. They've just rolled out their 2.0, and I'm going to actually do a full-on review about the new features on Fly My Mall. They have some new incredible features and also expanding to the UK and China. As you can see, they only used to have US, but I've really not tried out the China service, but yeah, it's something you should look out for. Then the second one I would suggest you go with is Hiroshi. Hiroshi is another really good service, and they also allow you to ship from the UK, the US, and China. So how it works is, once you sign up, you are going to get your addresses, and there is a Chinese address there, and you can easily just copy that address and use it on your Temu account. The seller is going to now ship the thing to Fly My Mall or Hiroshi's warehouse in China. So the whole process will feel like the delivery fulfillment is within China. So, but when Hiroshi, for instance, gets the package from whatever seller on Temu you've purchased from, then they will now let you know that the thing is in their warehouse, and they will weigh the thing and do all the things they're supposed to do and ship it down to you in Nigeria. It's as simple as that. And I've made a video full on showing the whole process where I did this with Fly My Mall shipping from the US. And it's a very similar process. But if you want to see a proper video where I go on and purchase something and show you the entire timeline and my personal experience, leave a comment in the comment section. And the more comments I see, I will consider making a full-on video where I actually use my money, as I usually do, to make purchases on Temu and use one of the services I've just shared with you and ship the whole thing down to Nigeria. So now that we've gotten acquainted to Temu and we also know how to buy from the platform and platforms like it, the last question becomes, should you be shopping on Temu? And I'm only going to give you an answer from my personal preference and my personal take on it. And for me, there are a couple of factors that make Temu not so great. And the first one is that they are pretty young. Temu came around 2022, so they are pretty young, about 2, maybe 3 years now. And then in that short period of time, they've been able to amass a very terrible reputation. They have a very, very terrible rep, as we saw from the beginning of the video. And then also, most of their offers sound too good to be true. So definitely there has to be something going on. I see some ads, for instance, where there's just flashy items and products and things, and the prices on them incredibly low. And I know that definitely something is going to go wrong here. Make you feel like this, you're getting something and then you get something else. I've seen a lot of complaints like that on TikTok. So that, I think, is also why they get their bad reputation. And then finally, there are other platforms. Like, I mean, they're very reputable shopping, online shopping stores like Amazon and eBay, Alibaba, AliExpress, and the rest of them. There are so many other amazing options and reputable options that have proven themselves over a long period of time. And I don't think shopping on Temu will come with a lot of peace of mind. I can only experiment with it, maybe with like small items, stuff that even if I lost the money, it's not going to do any damage to me, or it's not going to hurt me too much. then I can do that. But I'm not going to buy any serious thing on Temu. I don't, at least not at this point in time. But not to say that it's a bad place, or I'm not trying to defame them or say that they're terrible. I'm sure that there are people who have had pleasant experiences on Temu, but yeah, for these points, for these reasons, I don't think it's a place where you want to make big purchases.